welcome Laura Gander Howe, who's the Director of Strategy and Skills for the Arts Council. I hope I've got that right.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, at the Arts Council, those of us that work there, our titles change all the time, actually. But at the moment, I'm Director of Children, Young People and Learning and Skills. So it's really about the continuum of learning and, from young people right into employment. So firstly, thank you very much for inviting me here. I think it was less than a month ago that Simon, that I was in Bristol and the wider southwest before, and it's really great actually to be able to come and look at a city and other places and see actually what's going on the ground, and you just get a real sense check of policy and action and how important it is to get that sort of local flavour of things. So thank you very much. And we at the Arts Council, we've got a long relationship with the Knowle West Centre, going back to the time when it was first set up by Carolyn. And I believe it was an old health centre in the first place. And what began as an arts and photography club, and I've got a visual arts background, so I'm always very interested in things like that, to see how, through the work of Carolyn and other leaders and the workforce here, it's become a significant player in the cultural and educational structure of the region. So it's really great to be here, so thank you. The Knowle West Centre embodies the partnership between traditional and modern, and is known for its digital and adventurous work, as well as for the work for young people in the community. And they always sort of find out and help me find out about centres and places before I'm going, and I was quite intrigued to find that this is apparently has one of the biggest constructions using straw bale techniques in the region. And my son's doing architecture actually, so I'm going to go back and try and impress him tonight. Say that I've been somewhere like that. So Knowle West is one of the Arts Council's national portfolios, and we're pleased to be investing, particularly through its partnership with the Bristol City Council and BBC Children in Need. And we're particularly delighted about the commitment and the continued support from the council and the outstanding enthusiasm shown by the Mayor, George Ferguson. And I can't stress how important that is at a time like that. And we'd like to, of course, encourage all local authorities to continue to highlight the arts, particularly when budgets are under pressure. It's obviously very easy to think, the arts are something that can't be afforded. But we'd urge all of the people, authorities, to understand and recognise that greater economic impact and prosperity that the arts can bring. And we've got evidence of that all around the country, including Bristol, of course. So the important report that's being launched today considers the issues surrounding entry-level employment to Bristol's creative industries, and Bristol as a city with a growing reputation for the creative and digital sector. And again, at the Arts Council, we're increasingly interested in the creative media, and with my Children Young People's hat on, I think that's the next thing we need to tackle. I look at Simon, because he's going to have to help me do this, how we actually create much more of a policy and an understanding of creative media for children and young people, and actually how we can learn from the work that's going on in places like this. So the report, it's been very thorough. It's an in-depth research project that's taken over a year to produce, commissioned by the West of England Local Enterprise Partnership and delivered in collaboration between the Media Centre here, Bristol and Bristol City Council. And we've come here today to hear the report and what it's discovered, and importantly the recommendations. So I'm very interested to hear and see what actually it says and what's going to be done, because one of my jobs is sort of to connect across to other cities and other places and try and highlight good practice and how that can be put into action in other areas, and then hopefully connect places together. So I'm very interested to hear that. At the Arts Council, we recognise the importance of the creative workforce for the future of our arts and culture. And just some statistics, really, which I reread them on the train, and I think they're quite amazing, actually. So these are from DCMS statistics, that the UK's creative sector brings to the economy £36 billion a year, generating £70,000 every minute. I thought that was quite amazing for the UK, and employing 1.5 million people. And I still think we all have got an awful lot to do in terms of advocacy, with government, to get them to recognise that fact that it is such an important sector. And I think from your speech earlier, it's that fact that we don't even know the jobs that are going to exist in a few years' time, and how can we have a duty to help get young people ready and able, flexible, with the right skills so they can actually respond and take advantage of those new jobs. So the creative cultural sector, nearly 700,000 jobs across England and expected to grow continually by up to a third actually very shortly. So in terms of what it means to the Arts Council, our mission is to bring great art and culture to everyone. We've got 5 strategic goals, one of which is that the workforce and leadership should be highly skilled and diverse. And we know that the strength of our nation is based on its remarkable diversity, and of course how important it is to get that reflected in our young people in order for them to then become the next audiences in the workforce. So diversity is absolutely essential to the resilience of the arts and culture, and we need to of course get young people engaged from all sorts of backgrounds into art and culture. So we know there's a current skills shortage in the creative sector, and of course that's always the problem, isn't it? You know, lots of young people unemployed, talent going to waste, but there are not enough people with the right skills to fill the jobs. So it's just an absolute sort of irony, and also absolutely a responsibility for us to try and address this. So as part of our goal, we're investing through our delivery part, the National Skills Academy, the Creative Employment Programme, which is running until March 2015, and we've invested £15 million to create 6,500 apprenticeships, pre-apprenticeships, internships, both graduate and non-graduate, across the cultural sector, and that's across music, dance, theatre, literature, visual arts, museums, libraries, etc. And it's a flexible programme, and to date it's going very well actually, with good progress against its targets, so we're very pleased about that. However, it's important that the national strategies, as I said earlier really, that they're delivered to shape local need, and it's at that local partnership level that those partnerships are formed across culture, education, charities, businesses, local authorities, so that we can support and provide what's needed in the most effective way. So again, as I say, when I come to places like Bristol to see the Creative Education Partnership pilot and the way the partners are working together to actually lever in resources and make things happen. And I think in a time of restraints on budgets, it's that key is working together to make greater sum of the parts, to unlock resources by putting our resources of all kinds together. So we know that the creative industries require specialist skills that can often be best acquired from working in the creative environments alongside other practitioners, and the Creative Employment Programme allows this to happen. So in the South West, organisations have created 15 new apprenticeships, 82 new internships in the latest round of the Creative Employment Programme, and in Bristol, 16 organisations are receiving nearly £200,000 for the creation of 72 entry jobs. And I think we've got some young people here today. Who are 8. Well, that's very good. So, hello, and I hope it's going well for you. And you're going to be our future workforce. So it's great to see the products of the programme in action. Okay, so. To congratulate Bristol on doing that. I mean, all of these things have to be set up really quite quickly, actually, and to actually get that amount of traction and to see young people here is really heartening, and well done to all of those that have done it. Really, really good. So, as well as the workforce, we believe that developing the future for the workforce actually begins much younger through cultural education. And another one of our 5 goals, which is absolutely at the heart of our mission, is around children and young people. We absolutely understand they have to have access to the richness of all the arts in this country, wherever they come from, whatever background, because we understand that it's not only that they'll become the audiences of the future, but also the cultural practitioners of tomorrow. So between 2010 and 2015, Arts Council will invest some 1.9 billion of public money allocated by Department for Culture, Media and Sports. I wish it was Department for Education. Please don't tweet that. Plus 1.1 billion of lottery funds. I mean, that's an incredible amount of money. It's a sort of another stat I have to sort of check, and I think, do we really? But we do. And we're always thinking about how we can invest that and support our commitment to children and young people. how we can do that through direct investment, but even more importantly, how that investment can work in partnership with other people to actually access and provide more opportunities. So we work in close partnership with the Department for Culture, Media and Sport and the Department for Education. And both of these departments are absolutely critical for the agenda. And a lot of my job is connecting to the Department for Education, and we're really happy to have a strong and successful relationship with them, conscious that so much of a young person's life actually is in school, and if we can influence the cultural education in school, then that's no bad thing. So of course we were delighted to be asked by the department to be the funder for the new music education hubs, which emerged from Darren Henley's review of music education. And through that, we're investing around 171 million over 3 years to support that network of hubs. And for us, that's a really great opportunity to connect to our wider national portfolio of music organisations, our youth music funding, in harmony, to try and make much more of a strategic investment looking across the piece. And again, it's that theme really from today that I'm trying to get over, the importance of partnership and people bringing their resources and expertise together for the best of young people so that they can access more opportunities. We're also running the Schools and Museums programme, and the department has given 3.6 million for that over 3 years to inspire more school trips to museums, particularly in areas of least engagement. And I know that the SS Great Britain is one of those key partners, and we always put it up actually as an exemplar to Department for Education, and our aim is to get Michael Gove to come to SS Great Britain because we think he'd like that and it would be jolly good fun. We're also investing in our bridge organisations, and we've got Lindsay from Rio here today, and we're working with them to ensure a joined up approach to cultural education, because what we know very well is that it's not always for a lack of money and a lack of things, it's actually that it's quite complicated and sometimes too many things. And young people, teachers, parents, etc., find it quite hard to navigate through. So how can those bridge organisations help join things up? How can they work to galvanise partnerships actually, so not actually set them up, but actually add value where it's needed, to act as brokers between cultural sector and schools, and to help access new models of money and partnership and investment. And they're quite new actually. They've only been up and running for 18 months, and I think we're just starting to see, some pretty good evidence of their value, and we will continue to invest in a network of bridge organisations going forward. So cultural education is about providing children both in and out of school with opportunities. So again, I'm pleased to be somewhere that does it sort of outside of school as well, and that community engagement just as important, particularly for those young people who haven't got parents who can send them to music lessons, etc. after school. So we've currently got ministers in the DCMS and the Department for Education who recognise the value of cultural education as seen by that quite significant investment. And of course we might wish that there were more buttons we could push to ensure that this commitment was manifested in every classroom, with arts and cultures being central, but we don't doubt actually the commitment, and I think it's up to us with our bridge organisations and others to actually tackle the head teachers actually and really engage them to still value and prioritise the arts and culture within the school curriculum. So we're doing our bit to ensure that schools seize the opportunities to place it at their heart. We're working with academy chains to try and develop unique cultural offers, and very interestingly that new sort of geographical map that academy chains are creating, very, very interesting, a different concept really to the local authority structure. And we've got our Arts Mark, our flagship scheme for schools, with a reasonably aspirational target of 50% of schools, but I'm confident we'll get there by 2015. And conscious that helps schools evidence the arts and culture for inspections, it actually helps schools plan a really good high quality offer, linking in with arts organisations, museums, libraries, etc. Another piece of work we're doing is working with sector and industry bodies to review Key Stage 4 qualifications for the arts. And what we want to do is to be able to say to the Department for Education and others, well, we've reviewed these qualifications, we're confident that they're what the sector, what industry, what HE, what young people and teachers want, and they should be considered on a par with the new EBC GCSEs when they arise. I think we've got to really work with parents actually and teachers to convince them of the value of the arts, particularly combined with some of the science subjects. So of course we've got Arts Award, which we fund and promote, and at Gold this can provide a really interesting and good route into employment for young people. It can be for those young people who want extra points for UCAS, but equally Arts Award can actually be the first qualification many young people get and can act as a really alternative progression model into employment. So I mean I could go on for hours, you'll be pleased to know I'm not going to, but I think all of us here today understand how important the development of a skilled and diverse workforce is, not only for the creative sector, but also as the wider nation. And we understand how we all need to work in partnership to achieve this and deliver it. And obviously today, opportunities like this for everybody to hear from different angles and get together and try and build on those partnerships, but also the outcomes and recommendations of the report. So again, thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to hearing about the report. Thank you.